Greetings, everyone, and welcome. September the 20th, 2025, early evening in Ukraine. Today, we have confirmation from my trusted Ukrainian sources that I stand behind 100% that we have a Kremlin leak. We have information coming out of the Kremlin in regard to Putin's escalation in the war against Ukraine and why he is doing it. So as we begin, the thumbnail here, Putin looking with his glasses at the White House, looking at the American flag, looking at Donald Trump, Ukrainian flag in the background, and Kremlin leak confirmed. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. All the new subscribers, likes, and comments. We appreciate each and every one of you. Now, why? Why are we going to talk about this, and why is it so important? Overnight last night, there was a massive strike on Ukraine. 619 different types of weapons used through the air. Ukraine was able to take out 583 of those, whether they're drones, shaheeds, or missiles. Unfortunately, we have 5 dead, and as of right now, over 50 wounded. You can see the strikes throughout Ukraine. I will come back to that in a moment because there is some key video that I want to share with you to validate Ukrainian position of truth and the Russian position of lies. This is just one example. People's cars in their parking lot demolished and on fire. This is in Kyiv. Now, why the thumbnail? Greg, why are you saying there's a Kremlin leak confirmed? Because it is confirmed, but it's not like, oh, there's some inside source that it leaked. No, the Kremlin leaked this on purpose. They want to push the envelope, and over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to validate to you why that is true. And the reason I say it's confirmed is because the analysts that I follow completely trust 100%, no fluff. No fake news. Confirm it. This is what is happening in the Kremlin. Putin is watching, and there even may be back channel communications with the United States. Remember, over the last couple of days, we have heard that Russia and U.S. are still in communication, but that's about it. Putin is watching the Israeli actions in Gaza and how massive and devastating that is. He's watching the USA actions in partnership with Israel. He's watching the strikes that happen in Qatar. He's watching NATO responses, whether it be the incursion yesterday with the 3 MiGs in Estonia or the drones in Poland, the drones in Romania. He's watching the United States blow up boats in the Caribbean and the actions and the escalation with Venezuela. He's listening to the USA rhetoric of Trump saying, I want airbase Bagram back in Afghanistan, and the Taliban saying, no, you can't have that airbase back. And he's watching the USA actions or lack of actions toward Taiwan. So this is the information that is pushing out, and Ukraine is confirming it. Why? Because it gives lease for him to expand and escalate the war. Now, in addition to that, guys, fake news running rampant. This is a setup right here. I firmly believe it because I can tell you right now, the question you're getting ready to hear is staged, and secondly, it is factually wrong. Here it is.
Have you seen the polling, the Gallup poll out of Ukraine that shows 23%, less than a quarter of Ukrainians actually support continuing the war against Putin? We saw the European leaders come here and try to say the world is united for the war effort, but Ukrainians have war fatigue themselves.
Well,
have you seen the polling and your thoughts on it?
I don't blame them. It's a war that never should have started. It's a war that never would have happened. If I were president, that war never would have happened.
The same rhetoric over and over. If I were president, that war would have never happened. I want you to pay attention, please, to 2 pieces of that. First of all, the question about the percentage of Ukrainian support for Zelensky and the war continuing, 23%, is 100% fake news. That is a lie. Ukrainians, in an overwhelming majority, support defending their country. Zelensky has strong support. It is difficult. We're pushing 3.5 on the way to 4 years of this war. And yes, there is war fatigue. But the second half of that statement, if I were president, would never have started. Well, I've got news for you. You now have been in office since January the 20th, and you can't stop it. So maybe stop saying it would have never started, because the bottom line is you can't stop it. And Russia knows exactly how to push your buttons, Mr. Trump. For example, right here. This is Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman for the Kremlin, stating, "We assume," and this is a quote, "that the United States and President Trump personally maintain their political will and intention to continue working to advance the Ukrainian resolution. Therefore, naturally, President Trump approaches this issue rather emotionally, so to speak. This is absolutely understandable." And that is in regard to his statements, "I'm disappointed with Putin. I'm disappointed with Putin." Peskov coming back, and that button is being pushed. We also have Russia pushing the love Trump actions through Kirill Dmitriev. Kirill Dmitriev putting out a couple of tweets here over the last few hours. The one on the right, we'll start with that one. "Good U.S.-China relations," that was in response to Donald Trump's tweet that he had a great call with Xi Jinping, "are important for the world." And then he tweets this picture. China, the United States, the panda, the eagle, the bear, the tiger, Russia, and India, all there together. Good U.S. relations are important for the world. And then just recently, he just tweeted, "MWGA, make the world great again. Together, through strong conservative values, we will fight fake news and open borders and restore faith, family, and freedom." Ladies and gentlemen, that came directly from Kirill Dmitriev, going straight into the heart of Donald Trump. Folks, I got news for you. If faith, family, and freedom is what Russia is doing to Ukraine, then they have no definition or understanding, of course, what faith, family, and freedom is. Peter Pavel, president of Czech Republic, former NATO general, said it. He said it. Russian military aircraft violating NATO airspace must be shot down. This just about an hour ago, he made this statement. According to him, such an adequate response will force Moscow to realize that it has crossed the line and made a mistake. 100% agree. Finally, a world leader, Peter Pavel, has the cojones to make that statement. Now, overnight, and I'm going to close with these two things. Ukraine smashed Russian oil. 3 strategic facilities in the Russian Federation were attacked by the defense forces last night, according to the Ukrainian General Staff. The Saratov refinery, where 7 million tons of oil per year are refined. The Novobukshevsk refinery in the Samara region, 8.8 million tons. And the Samara linear production and dispatch station, where Urals export is formed, up to 50% of all Russian exports. And here's the bottom line, the last statement: all facilities support the Russian army. Military strikes, economic strikes, fair warfare. But what was happening in Ukraine, and this is what we close with: massive night of strikes. As of now, 5 dead, over 50 wounded. One in my home city, region, Khmelnytsky, was killed. Young man born in 1979 was killed. But you can see there on the map, Sumy, Poltava, Kharkiv, Donetsk region, Pavlograd, Dnipro, Zaporizhia, Mykolaiv, Kherson, of course, then Khmelnytsky and Lviv, Bielotserkva, and Kyiv up in the top middle. It was a massive night of strikes. This, guys, this is why, you can see here, Kremlin leak confirmed, this is why Russia continues to unleash massive assaults. because they're watching everything the United States is doing. Now, I want to play a couple of video clips for you here as we close out. This is actually a strike last night. So Ukraine strikes Russian refineries, 3 of them. What does Russia strike? This. You may ask, what is that? That is actually Pro, and that is the warehouse for the ATB. You may ask, okay, Greg, what is ATB? ATB is a grocery store chain located everywhere, massive grocery store chain. So that strike takes out an entire warehouse and logistical facility for groceries. And I will tell you this about ATBs. ATBs are always the last grocery store in a city or a town or a village to close up shop when the assaults from Russia are coming. They are such strong supporters of Ukraine. Of course, it's Ukrainian company, but they stay to the last moment to help take care of Ukrainian people. So they've been struck now in their logistic warehouse. Now, I'm going to move to one more strike on Dnipro. This will prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that Russia strikes civilian targets. I do give a warning. There's nothing here that you will see that is death related or the strikes, none of that. You will see where I've blurred out a little bit in the middle of the video. I've used some AI to voice it over so you understand. It's just some rescuers talking to people that are rescued. There is one scene with a person in a warming blanket. What I've covered up is originally it looks like they had passed away, but I give you good news. They were not. They had not passed away. They were just in shock, and Ukrainians were treating them. So keeping the video as clean as I can for you. Here you go. This is Dnipro.
Let's take small steps. Now let's move away.
That's a granny he's helping.
Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Careful.
Immediately after the strike, you can see the building.
All right, stay calm. Deep breaths. Breathe slow and deep. Here's some water. Come on, come on. Need some water.
They're getting the emergency blanket out. Looks like they're covering the body, but it's not. The person's alive. Watch this.
I'm right here. Everything's okay. Oh, goodness.
And that person is
Hi,
alive.
Grandma.
Carrying grandparents out of the bed.
Get out, get out. Let's move quickly.
This, ladies and gentlemen, just a few hours ago in Dnipro. But remember, Lavrov, Russia never hits civilian targets. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the reality of what's happening on this Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening in Ukraine. You guys be blessed. We'll stay on top of it. A lot of things happening today, especially in the pressure side between both Ukraine and Russia. And next week going to be big as the UN meeting. Zelensky's going to try to meet with Trump. Lavrov's going to try to meet with Rubio. So who knows? I can just tell you it's a tough day in Ukraine. You guys be blessed.